A hand reaches toward the darkness. Not a gesture of fear, not a gesture of hope. Something older than language. The fire has burned low. The wind has stopped. The world is silent in a way that feels deliberate. This is the moment before sleep. The moment when the mind begins to drift away from the body. Your ancestors knew this moment intimately.
They knew sleep was not rest. Sleep was a journey into a place they could not control. We imagine ancient life as simple, peaceful dreams by the fire. That is not what happened. To fall asleep 100,000 years ago was to enter a world you could not escape. A world that felt as real as the ground beneath your feet. And sometimes, more real.
The human brain is not designed for happiness. It is designed for survival. And survival requires fear. The ability to imagine danger before it arrives. The ability to rehearse catastrophe. Most people assume nightmares are mistakes, a glitch, something that went wrong. That is not what happened. Nightmares are not errors. They are rehearsals.
They are the brain's way of preparing for a world that has not yet arrived. During REM sleep, the amygdala, the brain's fear center, becomes hyperactive. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic, shuts down completely. The result is a mind that feels terror without the ability to question it. A mind trapped inside the nightmare. This is not a flaw. This is inheritance. In 2019, researchers published findings that challenged decades of assumptions. They were studying nightmares as biological adaptations. The threat simulation theory emerged. Nightmares are not random. They are specific. They are the brain's way of preparing for worst-case scenarios. Falling, being chased, being attacked, being trapped. Your ancestors faced these threats daily.
They ran from predators. They fell from cliffs. They fought for survival. The nightmare is a virtual reality training program. Free, continuous, inescapable. Evolution does not waste energy. The nightmare exists because it kept your ancestors alive. Because it kept you alive. Researchers noticed something strange. People who experience frequent nightmares are faster at identifying threats in their waking life, more hypervigilant, more likely to notice subtle changes in their environment, more likely to survive dangerous situations. The researchers expected nightmares to be harmful. They were wrong. The nightmare is not a curse. It is preparation. The guy who woke up screaming every night, he was the one who survived the ambush the next day. He was the one who heard the twig snap. He was the one who lived.
But this does not answer the deeper question. What were they seeing? Without language, without stories, without shared mythology, the brain had to invent characters. Ancient humans did not dream about people they knew. They dreamed about things they had never seen before. Creatures with too many eyes, shadows that moved against the wind, faces that melted into other faces. The visions felt real, more real than reality, because the prefrontal cortex was silent. No logic to interrupt, no doubt to weaken the experience. The nightmare was absolute certainty, absolute terror. Imagine waking up from such a vision. The conviction that you had visited another world, and you could not explain it.
The first God was not born in a temple. The first God was not born in a book. The first God was born in a nightmare. A giant serpent, your father's face, a creature with many eyes. You have never seen a serpent before. You have no word for it. And yet, it felt more real than the ground beneath your feet. What is the only conclusion your primitive mind can reach?
It was not a dream. You visited the spirit world. This is the exact moment religion was born. Not from philosophy, not from curiosity, from terror. From the inability to distinguish between the nightmare and reality. The evidence is still there, on cave walls, in darkness, under layers of time. The paintings are not abstract. They are visions, figures with animal heads, beings that are half human, half creature. The shamans were the ones who remembered, the ones who could navigate the spirit world, the ones who could make the nightmares stop. They painted the visions to gain control. The cave walls are not art. They are survival tools. They are therapy. They are the first attempts to make sense of a world that made no sense. A world that visited them every night. A world they could not escape. You have experienced this. The terror. The waking up gasping. The feeling that something is still there. Something watching. You do not face saber-toothed tigers. But your brain does not know this. Your brain treats social rejection as a predator, financial loss as a threat to survival, public embarrassment as a physical danger. The amygdala still fires. The prefrontal cortex still shuts off. The panic is the same. The terror is the same. You are having a prehistoric panic attack in a modern world. This is not a metaphor. This is inheritance. And here is the question that remains. If nightmares are training, why do they still happen? Because the threat persists. Because survival is still uncertain. Ancient humans did not dream to predict the future. They dreamed to master the past, to survive the present, to prepare for tomorrow. Every nightmare you have ever had is a gift from your ancestors. Their voice, their warning, their protection. Every time you wake up in a cold sweat, you are connected. Connected to the ones who sat in the dark, listening to the wind, wondering if they would see the sunrise. They did. And so will you.
You are not broken. You are not weird. You are not alone. You are a survivor. And your ancestors survived the night, so you could survive today. But here is the thing they did not tell you. Here is the thing the research cannot fully explain. The nightmare does not end.
It does not stop. It does not fade. It transforms. It becomes something else. It becomes the voice that keeps you alert. It becomes the instinct that keeps you alive. It becomes the thing that wakes you up. The thing that reminds you. The thing that whispers. Stay awake. Stay alive. Stay ready. And it knows you remember. Because something is still out there. Something in the darkness. Something waiting. Something that has been waiting since the beginning. And it knows your ancestors survived. And it knows you survived.
So, the next time you wake up from a nightmare drenched in sweat, heart pounding in the dark, don't curse the terror. Remember, that nightmare wasn't a glitch, and it wasn't a flaw. It is a 4 million-year-old software update, a primal key to survival that kept your ancestors alive long enough so that you could be here to dream it today.